So next up, I'm very pleased to welcome Farzam Farzadi, Senior Associate in BECA's Digital Engineering Advisory Team, as he presents this case study around value realisation of digital programs to support health and safety on infrastructure projects. Farzam brings over 17 years of experience in the construction industry across diverse sectors and has a profound passion for digital engineering and asset management. And as a recipient of NZIOB's Innovation and Supreme Award, he excels in driving innovation and collaboration to really drive some really high quality outcomes. I'm very inspired to see his continuous learning mindset even after 17 years in the field. So thanks, Farzam. I'm really looking forward to this presentation.
Thanks.
The clicker is all yours.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Here everyone. Paul, I'm really good at passing the time, so just raise your hand if I did it. What I'm going to share today is a story. And in reality, what unites people is a good story. And it's literally me most of the night at home having a glass of wine in my hand, and I just say why and how I can unite people who work across my projects. I started my career in oil and gas, and what I learned during 6 first years of my career was that the role of designers is not just to design. The role of designers is to make sure our contractors can build on site safely within targeted time and budget. And the role of our contractors is not just building a facility, to making sure that what are the outcomes of that specific asset owners, we are going to meet them, to make sure that what are the outcomes that operations teams are seeking for, we are going to meet them. And that's how I used to operate during the first 6 years of my career. 11 years ago, I moved to New Zealand, and great number of my projects. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Please raise your hand if you worked on a project that during design phase you didn't know who is the contractor. And the question that I have for us, how on earth can we make sure that we meet the constructability aspect of design, safety aspects of that specific contractor when we don't have them on board? So I'm going to share you a story. And the story is about my role. Currently, I'm working at Watercare, and what I'm trying to find out is why we need to do it. 3 years ago, I joined the same seminar, I believe it was in Christchurch or Wellington, and I presented about how digital engineering and BIM can improve health and safety during construction of a humble wastewater treatment plant, nothing fancy. During that project, we had our operations teams on board from day one when we were doing our planning and consenting. We had our construction partner on board when we were developing our design. We delivered the project 6 months ahead of program, 10% below the budget, 0 health and safety issue, and we minimized our number of documents and drawings that produced by 50%. But the reality is, unfortunately, I failed during the last 3 years to implement that approach, consistency across all of my projects. Since then, rather than what and how, I focus on why, and that's what I'm going to share with you. What we're trying to do at Watercare, we have a program of work that we have 3 main objectives. We implemented health and safety within our objectives. We want to reduce our carbon footprint of our projects by 40%. We want to reduce our cost and time by 20%. And we want to reduce our carbon health and safety issues by 20%. But the question is, for achieving that, we needed a baseline. And that's what I and our team tried to implement. We have a program of work of $13 billion for the next 10 years. Approximately 2,500 people are going to work across our projects. And we have projects from range of 1 billion to 100. And during the next just 3 years, we have more than 500 jobs to deliver. It's a nightmare from logistics, and it's a nightmare from consistency. But our goal was, is, and will be on that implementation, on awareness. As Jen mentioned, BIM and the value that can provide is all about awareness. And to improve awareness, we need good information, reliable data. And reliable data is one of products of BIM that can support health and safety. And there are other aspects of it that can support good data, can reduce time, can reduce cost. And our approach was, if we could demonstrate the value, if we could demonstrate that where is the money that officially could remove all the blockers that across this program of work. So what we are doing and what we did, during last 6 months, we reviewed approximately all projects that delivered during the last 10 years in the water sector. We identified number of RFIs that we had during construction phase when we delivered traditionally. We collaborated with our construction partners in terms of number of health and safety issues that they launched in their systems. We collaborated with our sustainability team about the processes that they currently have in terms of reducing the carbon and doing their studies. And the numbers that we identified based on when we change more towards data-driven approaches across some of our pilot projects, we could reduce our cost by 2 to 4%. So that means for us, our targeted number is $260 to $500 million investment and saving during next 10 years. And what is the benefit of it? The benefits of it is that we are going to right from the feasibility through the construction, through the handover, being able to maintain creation of data that we are going to reuse during life cycle of informations. And one of result of these products, one of output of these products and information is improving health and safety. We focused and we learned that actually it's not about tools. It's not about having a fancy platform. It's about being able to consistently implement these approaches. And when we have stakeholders, when we have supply chains from companies that they have 5 employees to a company that has 50,000 employees, for us it was very important to make sure that what we implement, what we set as a standard, as a goals, as requirements, are applicable to all of our projects and our supply chain can produce it. And where the value comes from, one of the targets area for us is specifically reducing number of type of informations that our designers or contractors or operations teams are producing, that we are not recycling them, that we are not reusing them. As I highlighted, the wastewater treatment plant, we managed to reduce by 50% our drawings because we empowered our designers to issue their models and we use them for construction. So our designers, they are not handing over their models with a long disclaimer that they are not being able to use them. Our digital KPIs that we set up in terms of measurement of implementation, even is not based on the specific agreements at the specific project between a specific partner and our PMs. Our KPIs and measurements are based on our overall standards and requirements. So there are always room for improvement. There are always rooms for checking what we are doing and what we are implementing. So where we are having the information, where we are implementing them currently, and at which stage there is a flavor for health and safety, and there is impact on health and safety. So during program management phase, we literally set the expectations within aspects of every project with a focus on health and safety, with the number of risks that we had on that specific type of projects across previous projects. We categorized all of these 500 projects during the next 3 years to 5 main categories with respect to construction activities and risk profile and size. And every project has a specific requirements for health and safety management. During design is, again, as the team shared today, but for us is very basic, is mostly for us is pump stations, wastewater treatment plant, nothing fancy, very humble projects, but good information improve awareness. And across all of our sites, our construction teams from day one, they establish an environment that we be able to improve that awareness. During construction, the biggest value that we could extract to date is rehearsal. We rehearsal all of the main installation. We rehearsal all the connectivity between existing assets and new assets that we're installing. And that, in terms of reducing time, cost, help us significantly. A couple of years ago, I shared a time that is still, we are using it as an example, that we had the biggest risk for $250 million projects. We had 2 days to do it. It was the last 2 days of 2020, and we did it in 9 hours because even of our welding team, even our constructions team, they checked all the health and safety and time frame aspect of it digitally. And interestingly, we found that design is not working. So we managed to do some changes. And asset management, often health and safety for us is during construction, but we underestimate the importance of it during operations. And often the good number of accidents that we have is actually, they are not during construction, they are during operation. To achieve that, we needed to be as simple as possible with respect to expectation. And the approach that we implemented is, we call it balanced information management. We capitalized on tools, platforms, and ecosystems that were available to us and also our partners. And we developed our standards accordingly. We capitalized on the resources that we had, because we know that also for our partners, bring new peoples from overseas is actually, it can be a significant challenge. And the output of it is consistent implementation. I believe that's our biggest challenge in construction industry. We are not consistent. We have good tools, platforms, approaches available to us. I'm really pushing for it, but I failed multiple times and good number of times that what I did once that was very good, for a good number of times I couldn't do it. And the reasons behind that is because we don't have a consistent and good procurement model in New Zealand often, a way that focus on consistency, a focus on value rather than a specific phase, rather than focusing on a specific phase, focusing on life cycle of how we're looking after our facilities. And unfortunately, as an industry, we failed to demonstrate values to our asset owners. We failed to show them, if we propose something new, what's the impact of it. And collectively, there is opportunity in front of all of us to empower our clients, our asset owners, with reliable information that if we propose something, what's the impact of it? And that's something that we're trying to push at Watercare. And what we learned so far, I presented this literally a couple of days ago with Steve Webster, Chief Infrastructure Officer at Watercare, and this I literally copy-paste from his presentations, that he highlighted that many people tried from inside the country and outside the country to sell a specific product, a specific tool, but often they failed to demonstrate the value of it. And finally, because no one could demonstrate it, the biggest learning curve for them was that actually the role of our clients and asset owners in construction is very critical. No one can empower data-driven construction, data-driven health and safety management except our clients. And at the same time, as I highlighted, is a role of us as a construction industry to empower our clients and demonstrate value to them. And at the same time, a good digital strategy, a good digital approach doesn't mean that we can get outcome. We need to have an environment. And again, creating that environment, it's something that we hugely rely on our clients. The only things that we need to consider ourselves and reminding ourselves is that as architects, engineers, asset managers, is our role to supporting them. We just not can wait and ask them to do it. Our role is very critical to empower them and support them in this journey. And the last one was that what they learned is that they established that system. They selected team members from their partners who are specialized in health and safety, in constructability, in operation, and they brought them together, and they are leading through this exercise rather than implementing specific tools and platforms. And last one is what they learned is that this environment also can empower people, that those people can add more value to industry. Thanks so much. I appreciate the time.